Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second half of a Final Fantasy IV free Enterprise doubleheader. Tonight, we have Sylverfyre versus EizanTayama in the table phase of this tournament. My name is Rex Raoul, and I am being joined by Gundam Pilot Spaz. Gundam. We had quite a race earlier today. So what are you hoping to see tonight?
Oh, I mean, we have two great runners here. I think they are going to give us a show no matter what we're going to get. But looking at the objectives, we have a potential here for a very fast seed, depending on our starting key items and where the seed takes us. Unfortunately, that starting character is probably not who our runners would have liked to see.
Definitely going to be looking out for Excaliburs or Crystal Swords when you're forced to drag along Cecil with, if you've seen any of this event so far, the vanilla agility flag has just been making the choice of whether or not to have Cecil in your party be a real up in the air. In this case, with the permajoin and him being the first character, our runners will be having Cecil in the party and will not be able to let him go.
Yeah, I think the best case scenario, if you want to carry that Cecil with you throughout the rest of the seed, is finding a twin form and keeping one of them on the ground to anchor that agility, and using the other one to just swing away and hopefully do a ton of damage.
That is one option, without a doubt, and especially if you are able to find that Excalibur either in a chest or by forge, or if you're lucky enough to pull a crystal sword, then that's probably going to be enough. If not, then you're going to be sacrificing one of those 5 precious characters to be just an agility anchor, nothing else. Whereas characters like Sid and Tella have been very popular for multiple reasons within this tournament, and they kind of do double duty as both that agility anchor and the other things that you're looking them for, and that could hamper a party if that's the way that they end up doing it.
Yeah, but I think the bigger thing on our runners' minds right now are these objectives, because we don't have any objectives on the moon. We may not even need to go to the moon, and I think the fear is getting that go mode as quick as possible, and then not having a way to get to Threemus, not having an easy grind. Making a jet seed on these flags adds a whole lot of complications to our lives.
And as we take a look at these runners here, Sylverfyre, so far in the table stage, has been able to defeat Moonblaze Wolf and Locke, took an unfortunate loss to Flurry 14. Meanwhile, EizanTayama only played 2 matches so far and has been able to defeat Dragus and took a loss to Slippery. So both of them at that one loss still feeling in pretty good shape right now, but neither of these runners want to go to the 2 losses at this point in time.
No, they're both very talented runners. They have so far had each have impressive showings throughout this tournament, and I think we're gonna see some skill on showcase no matter who wins tonight.
Without a doubt. And these objectives, they could be really fast, they could be very slow, depending on exactly where those Earth Crystal and Pan are found out, as well as possibly the Adamant and the Legend Sword. I mean, forging is definitely on the table, and we've got a lot of, with that Defend Fabul is there right from the beginning, but the rest of them are going to need key items in order to complete. And we've got a Spoony Bard as the second character, but we get to start off with the Legend Sword, so a jump start on objective number 1. I can't imagine either of the runners, and yeah, they both ditch Edward right away.
Yeah, you're not gonna. I mean, the only way you take an Edward is if you are thinking about doing Edward strats on these flags. Unlike in our group stage, we don't even have the option of equipping that spoon to him and making him a serious damage dealer. So he's only going to be used to hide from big bangs and reflect nuke at Threemus if it comes to that.
There are a few bosses where you can kind of cheese around with Edward's strategies as well, but I imagine those would be kind of desperation moves as we as we proceed through this race. Guiding Way giving the objectives one last time, and then we're off to the races, and already getting a little bit of divergence as Sylverfyre goes right to Baron Town, whereas EizanTayama wants to get a little bit more info on the characters and heads over to Mysidia.
Yeah, the both these plays completely valid. I think more often, especially on these permajoin flags, we wanna get all the characters available as soon as possible. Get them all into that Mysidian Tower, so we have our pick. Barrentown has some good treasure spots. Has that one character check. Has an item shop. It's also a very good start. But if we're looking for characters right away, there's plenty of free character spot out there that I think I would hit first.
And in Mysidia, EizanTayama sees both Tella and Porum, decides the old man is worth taking, so Tella has joined the party. Unfortunately, Porum stays on the sidelines for now, might be recruited later because with this flag set, you are able to, if you don't take them in initially, they'll be waiting in the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia. You could go ahead and pick them up. And but once you decide to add them in their party, then they can't leave again. So probably only if Rosa isn't available is there a possibility that we'll see Forum, is my guess.
Yeah, and the Tella star immediately is very good. Tella has a lot of utility on these flags, mostly because we have banned the infamous Fusoya, who is like Tella but a lot more powerful and gets those last couple top tier spells that Tella is missing. But Tella enables most of our valid grinds. He has exit immediately. He's a solid utility character, and he can get us through these early fights really easily.
EizanTayama has now head on over to the Watery Pass and finds the Black Mage Palom in there and decides to add him to his team right away. Sounds like it looks like EizanTayama knows what he wants as far as a Black Mage.
No, yeah, I mean, I take Palom every time. If I already have some damage and I already have a know that there's a white mage available, Palom's going right in my party. He has just for that Quake spell, definitely worth it. And just Rydia's XP growth is just way too slow unless you're going to slingshot her.
Also find some good loot here in the Watery Pass. Just got a Drain Sword, which will probably be sold. But we also found a Cat Claw, a Gaia Drum, and a Crystal Armor among the loot there. Interesting choice with Crystal Armor. Oftentimes it's a one that you want to sell because it's worth so much money, but you're forced to have Cecil in the party. You might want to make use of it because as a paladin, he can equip that Crystal Armor, and the cover command is very strong when Cecil's in the back row, and if he's got a piece of armor that's that strong, that might be a way to deal with some tough bosses that we might have to fight later in the seed.
Yeah, I probably hold on to it unless I really need cash for those cover strats. But the Drain Sword, I think, is something that we're going to hold on to maybe a little deep in the seed, because with Cecil and his vanilla agility, the Drain Sword can be helpful for modifying that even a little bit. If they accidentally overlevel that Cecil past that magic 28 agility, that Drain Sword can kind of correct that towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I suppose that could be an option that our runners might take as well. Now, EizanTayama and sylverfyre are kind of swapping places now, as sylverfyre's in the Watery Pass and EizanTayama goes up to Damsian Castle, and the character up there is going to be Yang. Yang has been somebody who seems like is not very popular, at least in the early parts of Seeds, but sometimes is a good choice once it's time to level up and get to the endgame levels, because he doesn't need much other than levels in order to be good.
Yeah, Yang under level 30 is a burden. Yang over level 30 is one of my favorite characters. So it's later on he's gonna be doing some serious punch magic.
He's got good stats, great HP. He can be very good at the end of a game, without a doubt. Now we are seeing the first venture into a potential key item location in the Antlion Cave there for EizanTayama, whereas sylverfyre is now getting that Palom. We'll see if he decides to have the Black Mage join the party as well.
and where we have parity on at least our character choices so far between these two runners, and I think it's so far they've been obvious choices. The Tella and the Palom are both characters that we definitely have a lot of utility, and they're gonna help us when we start fighting some of these bosses.
Palom in particular might be the key to get past the early part of the game. Once you get that first battle under his belt, he generally starts learning those level 2 elemental spells, and that's usually enough to get past a lot of the overworld encounters. Once you get past ordeals, then you'll have a paladin Cecil, and hopefully you'll have something to equip on him by then. And then you've got a couple of powerhouse characters in Cecil and Palom, and then you should be able to get going until you're ready to make that grind.
Yeah, we love Cecil because of the amount of power that he can deal when he's in his paladin form, but Dark Knight Cecil is most enemies have resistance to darkness or just no weakness to darkness, with a couple exceptions, and his starting weapon is nearly unusable against most enemy encounters. So he's more of a burden in this part of the game than a benefit.
If you're lucky enough to pull a black sword in the overworld, that can boost his stats enough to make him be viable in a lot of fights. But yeah, you're right, without a doubt. You just want to get him. It looks like sylverfyre is going to be the first to start climbing Mount Ordeals while EizanTayama is taking care of. I see that sprite and I thought Pale Dim, but no, it's the Dark Elf.
Yeah, we're just quickly making our way through. We've already passed half health on the Dark Elf. Wow, that was hard to say.
So sylverfyre seized another, I think that was another Palom on Mount Ordeals. Decides to pass for now. Might want a more clear picture of who's available, and looks like they decided to reset out of that. Wants to go somewhere else. We'll have another opportunity to pick up because of that reset later. But as of right now, looks like follow in Eizen's footsteps and head down Antlion Cave.
Yeah, I think this is the interesting thing about these permajoin flags. I think some of the flags, especially like the flags we used for Bull Gauntlet, we saw 2, 3 character parties this early because the characters weren't available. Here, the characters are available, but our runners might just be afraid to take them because there's a kind of a fear of missing a better character down the line. So it's. I think it enables a lot of interesting choices.
It's all about potential, isn't it? If you hold out until you know all the characters that are available, then you'll have your pick of who you want there based on what the seed gives you. Whereas if you decide to take up characters that you think are pretty good along the way, then you might be doing better throughout the mid part of the game, but it kind of depends on when you're able to start doing that grind as well as to how much time that's going to save versus waiting until, for example, with Tella, you're probably looking for that darkness crystal to do the grind.
Yeah, I mean, myself on a table seed I did recently, I just took Palom and Porum for about an hour into that seed, and that's sometimes the prospect of finding better characters just kind of consumes you, and you don't want to waste those character slots.
But at least in this one, as you mentioned, both of our runners deciding to go with the 3-person teams for now. We'll see when or if there's going to be any differentiating decisions based on party members as the seed goes forward.
Yeah, it's really gonna. I mean, if we see a bunch more black mages, then I think sometimes the seed just makes the decisions for you on who you need to take, and sometimes it gives you the opportunity to build your own strategy. It's really up to Zoe at this point where we go.
I believe EizanTayama ended up selling that crystal armor. Wanted to get some cash while in Kabul here, but we are going to get a peek at that full Kabul defense. Going to go ahead and go for objective number 3. Looks like sylverfyre is going to be right behind Eizan here.
Oh, and we see a Baigan, which is you never like to see Baigan. He can hit hard. He throws up a wall when you throw a spell at him. It's just not a pleasant fight. we have the Palom, probably much easier when you get that Quake spell.
One of the few overworld that the might not be good enough.
And we see even with that vampire, which did do 500 damage, we're seeing a reset out from EizanTayama at the Fabul defense. So we're gonna see Eizan here look for additional characters and probably just start to plan how he's gonna get through this fight, because there's no open out of that. But it'll be interesting how he decides to get through this fight, because it's required, and we still don't have access to the underworld. So there's a lot of reasons to take it right now.
Going to be using the bluff command on Palom to boost his magic power, his will. It's wisdom stat for black magic, and doing that a couple times, hoping to one-shot Baigen before the wall comes up. However, got punched by Baigen, and there's the reset. Both of the runners deciding discretion is the better part of valor. We know where this is, and now we know who we're up against. And once we're ready, we're going to head back.
Yeah, EizanTayama is walking back down ordeals after doing that character check, and he is quickly out of checks to make here on the overworld. So, I guess so it looks like he's going to do some shops. Both of our runners now shopping, and again, they're kind of hitting the wall, and probably need to decide on another character, or maybe even do either find some armor or do some grinding.
If they decide the grind is going to be the best option, Evelyn Castle is often one of the places that people like to go. There's a lot of experience to be found in just those 3 battles, but they are rather difficult.
Yeah, I don't think. I think that's really a place I go to when I think I'm not ready for like the hook route, and I've already cleared the overworld. Right now, if you don't think you can take on those overworld bosses, you probably can't take out like that Mad Ogre chest in Castle Eblin.
That's a good point. This Baigen, I think, is going to be one of the biggest parts of this early seed, and looks like Eizan decided to take a second Palom here to just try to overwhelm this spot. It looks like
the one reason to do the Eblin Castle check, even if you're not gonna do those trap chest fights, is we are on the T Pro setting, which makes kind of those out of the way dungeons a bit more valuable in loot. So the Watery Pass, which both of our runners have done, is more valuable than say Antlion Cave, and the same with Cave Eblin. There could be some pretty good loot that they can pull from there that helps them through some of these fights.
Speaking of loot, the Sparse Flag not being so kind to Sylverfyre there, as the small Troya treasury has very little chests that are actually there. Most of them being emptied already because of the sparse 60 nature of this particular flag set.
Yeah, the sparse 60, it can be frustrating if you do take the time to go out of your way, like in that quick Troya check. Like Sylverfyre went out of their way and ended up with nothing. The other thing is that some of these like pot checks or the grass checks, it can really throw you off because they are like invisible, and if when you pull up nothing, you sometimes think that you did it incorrectly, and it just kind of sometimes throws off your routing through some of these areas.
So EizanTayama with that second Palom now has access to the flare in this case, but the twin spell. So being able to come up with some magic that is going to bypass that wall, and it looks like it's going to at least get through this fight. Whether or not, or we'll see who survives after the arms explode, but he's going to have at least one character up, and this fight is going to be a win.
Yeah, I mean, putting myself in this situation, I would love to see like an Earth Crystal here, not only because we have access to that treasury, but it will unlock us 2 gated character checks. And finding a Rosa right now or a second Cecil would be my priority, either that white mage to help us through the rest of the fight, or the second Cecil if I wanted to do that anchoring. Eizan, only that 1 character check left, is he's got to be thinking real hard about how he wants to fill it.
Well, we do get that magma key, so now we do have access to the underground, and a lot more checks available. We've got a character check available in Dwarf Castle, although they're probably a little bit too low level in order to try that, but that's available. Since we've got the tower key already, we can try going up to the tower at this point. There's the free checks, of course. The question becomes, like, we've got the pan as one, returning the pan is one of our objectives. When do you prioritize starting that pan sequence? Do you want to see if, because if it's vanilla pan, then you have to go there without the pan anyways.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be the first thing I would do, but if I don't think I can get clear any more bosses and out of checks, I'm going to try to get that freebie in. You don't want to fade it too long, because there's always a possibility that that pan is in its vanilla location and it won't show up until you talk to Sheila the first time.
It might depend on how reliably our runners feel that they can go through the key item locations that do have boss checks behind them as well. Like, we had to pull out some stops in order to get past this Baigan here. And even so, even with the bluffs, Sylverfyre having some trouble, wasn't able to one-shot the Baigan, but now going to some alternate strategies, using the Star Veil, gonna try to use reflected strategy to get past that wall.
Yeah, so here Eizan is going to dive underground. I don't think you take on the Dwarf Castle fights with 2 Palums until they're at Quake levels, about 22. But what would be probably a good play, if you don't think you have enough power, is do the half tower. You have that tower key. The boss there is very easy and gives a decent amount of experience for how much HP that they have, and could provide a decent key item there. And that might be a play that Eisen's considering.
We'll see that, and see if Penguinator is watching as well, because that's the play that he is known for. But Sylverfyre able to get through that Baigan fight using the Star Veil very effectively in order to get past a challenging opponent, and was rewarded with their Magna Key. But Isaac going the more traditional route in the underground, especially for an early Magma Key, which is doing this loot of the Feymarch cave. And there is 1 trap chest in here, but if you find it, you can reset out of it. Looks like Eizan was happy with the loot, didn't want to bother with the rest of it, and going down to this lower level, the town area, which is there's no trap chest down here.
But this last chest here, of course, does contain a key item, so we're going to see what Eisen's going to pull here, and if it's going to help him complete his objectives. And it certainly does.
I'd say that helps. Now, this is the sort of situation where it's like, since we've got the access to the Giant of Babil and the all-powerful D-Machine grind with Tella, we do have to complete Mount Ordeal still, but now it's sort of thinking, like, what characters were available already, and do I want to take them to the moon, or excuse me, the Giant, and do that grind with them?
Okay, we see a Bahamut and an Odin. We have a kind of a royal party down here in the Feymarch. That Bahamut might be doable with a couple Star Veils right now, and Eizan, and that would definitely be a huge source of experience for Eizan to get those Palums closer to Nuke.
You'd have to have enough Star Veils. I don't know if 2 is going to be quite enough.
No, but Star Veils should be available somewhere on the overworld, so just needs to go and grab a couple, and then that fight will be doable. But I would be surprised if he didn't make an attempt, at least one attempt here.
The cursed ring for sale down here in the armor shop in the Feymarch. That's one that's going to be a little awkward if you find a really good weapon for Cecil, because you don't really want to, other than his agility, you don't really want to reduce his stats, but it might be a necessary thing to do depending on how our agility ends up going forward in this scene.
Yeah, I mean, you pull a crystal sword, you throw it on a cursed ring Cecil, he's still going to be swinging for 2,000 damage. But if you never found an Excalibur or a crystal sword, then you're really gonna be limiting his utility with that cursed ring. That's actually what makes the drain sword so valuable for Cecil, because when you put it on him, it's -5 to his agility, but you can remove it during the battle, and that agility negative still stays on him even after you switch the weapon.
Yeah, the agility, like the relative agility levels, are locked in at the start of a battle, and so any changes that you make after that will not affect that sort of thing as far as like turn order and everything like that. But it looks like EizanTayama is deciding to go through the vanilla pan sequence right away, whereas Sylverfyre wants to do a little bit more shopping and sending it over to the town of Homra.
So we are. I think we're settling in for the long game here. I mean, it's kind of a weird situation we're in, because we're almost at that 25-minute mark, and we've only really done one or two bosses for each runner. So we really don't know what this seed has in store for us yet.
I think that's something that there are a number of runners who kind of subscribe to this philosophy, where they want to do it as much as they can without doing a lot of the bosses, because you're doing it with kind of a limited party until you know what your grind is going to be and everything like that. So you like that antlion, that's very low level. Almost any party can take care of antlion. Fabul, a little bit tougher, and even with the party with Palams in it, was a bit of a challenge. You don't really want to do a lot of other things unless you have to. Speaking of what you have to do, you have to get this Tela online. You have to get this Paladin available to us. So we have to go to Mount Ordeals.
So Rex, I don't know if you saw what Sheila 1 granted us, but Eizan now has that Earth Crystal and access to his second objective.
So this is going to be really good, because then we're down to either the adamant or the pan as go mode items.
But as you stated earlier, right, that Sylverfyre could choose to fade this Sheila check until they have that pan in hand, and that could put them at a fairly large disadvantage, depending how long it takes to get that valuable piece of cookware.
That's a very good point, especially since it looks like that wasn't part of Sylverfyre's routing as far as free checks before going in. Might be just prioritizing this Ordeals play at this point, because we just need to get these characters upgraded.
And this fight here is starting me to doubt if this seed is even randomized.
Yeah, something like that here. This shouldn't be a too difficult thing. I know that there were some diamond rings available in one shop. I'm not sure if anybody purchased them, but that would give the HP mages some resistance to the lightning spell that Mylon casts.
Yeah, but I mean, with the twins here, I mean, this is basically your vanilla strategy. You just throw twin magic at this boss. Throw swings, couple swings with Dark Knight Cecil, don't do any damage, and then you're through. just a different set of twins at Eizan Scream than in the vanilla game. Actually, yeah, Eizan is one character off from the vanilla party at this vanilla boss. So,
yeah, just swap one of the talents before him, and this is who you'd be fighting right here. And it looks like the bluffing has actually gotten through the Mylon pipe for Sylverfyre a little bit faster than the twin magic from EizanTayama. So Sylverfyre a little bit ahead here on Mount Ordeals, but of course it still is short that Earth Crystal that we saw Eizan get.
I admit that I was a little late to worship at the throne of bluff, but now once you start using it and you realize its potential, it's super powerful.
Oh, and we see a wyvern in the back attack. That's a pretty rude spot for it. We'll see if Sylverfyre at least able to get off one Star Veil, and that's really what you need in order to beat the wyvern.
Yeah, this spot here, Board was kind enough to add in kind of an extra turn for the party because a back attack wyvern would be impossible to get a Star Veil off before the Mega Nuke.
It still is a scary sight when you're not expecting it, though.
Certainly.
And it does burn one of the few Star Veils that we've got here. And if you recall, EizanTayama did use one earlier as well. Or no, EizanTayama used both here. Sylverfyre used one previously in the Baigan fight. So now both of our runners Star Veils. They're going to need to shop for those if they want to take on that Bahamut down at the Feymarch. But they might just want it in general because Star Veils are very useful items.
They are very valuable, and there are plenty of encounters out there where you would still want a couple, including that Bahamut that we already know is in the Feymarch.
We get the Luca key for completing Mount Ordeals, the key item that's awarded up here in the vanilla Legend Forge spot. So that's going to be one that I don't think our runners have a whole lot of interest in checking out now, but it's one that's going to be in the back of the mind for quite a while, I imagine.
I have seen runners do the sealed cave earlier than I would, as kind of a maybe a meta play, assuming that their opponent would fade it because it's such a long check. So it's possible if we see one of our runners do it and one of our runners fade it, and if there is value there, that definitely could gain someone an advantage. But it's a miserable check.
Well, it's kind of a tough one because if it turns out to be something that you want or need, do we have what bosses down there right now? That's kind of the dilemma in the early check. You might gain some knowledge, but it's going to be hard to actually capitalize on it at this point in time.
Yeah, especially if we get a rude boss down there, like a Leviathan or a Keinatsu. There's no way that our parties right now are getting through that.
But what we do have right now is a Paladin people and a talent that has his entire spell list. So we've got a lot going on right now. And as we see, Sylverfyre has found an Overaxe. I believe that was found in Baron right away. So it's got a decent weapon for him already. It's not an elite, but it's definitely serviceable.
No, yeah, definitely. And the Ogre Axe kind of enables us to take on some giants, and it's helpful for the Mach Giant grind, but with the Tella, that's not something that I think we're going to be seeing tonight. And Sylverfyre is going into that Castle Eblin. I think probably with that Ogre Axe gonna look for the Mad Ogre chest here, and using the life glitch can use that to get a couple thousand experience on her party right now. Eisen, we're going to Troya, probably going to look to replenish their supply of star veils.
Might be doing that same treasury check that we saw, or might be just heading straight up to the. It's going to be a different treasury check, I believe.
Yeah, Eisen does have the Earth Crystal, so they can check the treasury proper and head up to Zot, and complete their fourth objective.
Great!
Now it's time for everybody's treasury! Yeah, not the greatest treasury. You're really hoping to find something really good for Cecil here. I think that's the main thing, and we really didn't. I think there might have been a crystal shield, or that might have been on Sylverfyre's screen, but not a very impressive one at all.
Gone are the days in this tournament where we pulled 3 crystal swords, a white shirt, and a Stardust rod from the treasury.
Yeah, well, I think even compared to other table flags, this one was a little bit lackluster.
It could be better. It could be better. We want to see some kind of holy weapon for Cecil, even if it's just a light sword. We did not get it.
We see Sylverfyre now in the midst of this Black Cat Lamia fight. This is one of the fights that's a little bit more manageable. We saw some stop being cast. Those Black Cats have a nasty counterattack called Bluster that can either do a stop effect or an insta-death, and in either case, it's not very fun. EizanTayama, on the other hand, has found a siren in a chest in the Feymarch and is now going to cash it in and fight one egg to get some key spells on Palms. My guess is the goal here.
Well, it also is going to give a mini slingshot to that Cecil, giving him 68,000 experience here.
Ooh, that's a good price for Sylverfyre in that light sword. It's not the Excalibur, but it is a pretty good weapon for Cecil.
Yeah, that's the Cecil's third best holy sword. It's going to be doing some work for Sylverfyre.
And now with the egg being defeated, EizanTayama going to do some more checks here. Going to do a little bit of de-mist hunting, it looks like, by going to the Misty Cave here. We might see a waterfall check after that. But it is a vanilla de-mist, so some more delicious vanilla.
For some reason, I feel like I'm seeing vanilla de-mist a lot during this tournament, but I think that might just be the volume of seeds that we're seeing.
We've been broadcasting a lot of seeds, so anything that you see, any one specific thing you've probably seen before, but there's still so much more going forward. And so EizanTayama rewarded by being able to head over to Mist right away, and we get another check here.
And with a rat tail, which is currently useless, but will unlock a key item when we find a hook.
Without a doubt, and it's one of those things where it's like, if that ended up being the adamant or the pan, like this seed would have been busted wide open. Like this would have been one of the jettest seeds that we've seen. But it would have been like a kind of an unconventional check. There's so many other key item locations that are available, and Eisen decided to go for the D-Mist check, and it paid off. Now it's going to go ahead and go for the Tower of Zot, which is, of course, objective number 4.
Yeah, this is going to give Eisen an even further lead. Sylverfyre not even having that Earth Crystal yet, so they're going to have the levels on Eisen doing this grind in Castle Edwin. But Eizan is going to have the objective lead here very soon.
And the level advantage is a bit less important when we've got that darkness crystal and access to the D-machine grind. So this is almost a luxury play by Eizan because of that siren, to be able to go ahead and get these 2 character checks up here in Zot before going for the final grind. So everything has been working out really well for him so far. Not that things haven't been going good for Silverfyre. Their Cecil is much better equipped at this point than Eizan's.
Yeah, it's the benefit of taking that extra time to loot and taking those extra trap chest fights. But on the other side, the objective of the game is to get our crystal and get up to Threemus, and that's putting them a little bit behind.
Kind of unfortunate Silverfyre fighting that Hourglass 2 after already completing all the trap chests in here, and that's an item that's usually used to make those fights a lot easier. So timing a little bit off, but now if there is a boss that is susceptible to the stop, having that Hourglass in their hand is going to be very helpful for Silverfyre. Meanwhile, in the vanilla Mega Sister spot, EizanTayama has found Pale Dim, and getting Quake off of that egg grind for EizanTayama has been very helpful, making short work of this Pale Dim. And Silverfyre raising the big whale, that will give them an access to another character check as well as a shop, as well as the direct access to that D-machine grind whenever they're ready.
Yeah, Silverfyre, it'll be interesting what they decide to do here, because are they just, this is what I was going to ask, are they raising the whale to prepare for this grind, or they just want to grab another character here?
I can imagine if they pick up 2 characters, they might be ready for their grind. But we see Kane as one of the first character here in Zot for EizanTayama, and we're going to get that second one. Kane has been a very popular character when he has been available in the table flag. And the second character is Sid. So EizanTayama is going to have a lot more choices for characters.
Yeah, some beefy melee characters to choose from, as opposed to the squishy mages that we've had up till now.
Silverfyre doubling down on those squishy mages by picking up another couple of mages, one Palom, one Porum, to go along with Tella and Cecil and the first Palom that was there. So full party for Silverfyre here. So this might be time to do the grind.
I do not hate the fact that Silverfyre is just committing to an all mage party. It puts the Cecil purely in a anchoring position. They will be able to do some reflect strats here at the end with if getting both of those Paloms up to Luke, and that will lead to a much faster Z fight than swinging the weapon at Threemus.
This will also give Silverfyre the choice of basically anywhere that they want to do key item checks, if they want to go to the moon first, or if they want to do the underground checks. Basically anything's going to be open once the grind is complete, and that kind of makes maneuvering a little bit easier as well.
So what we're seeing here on Silverfyre's screen is our manipulation to get the D-machine fight, in which it will enable their grind. The manipulation essentially is going to set the encounter seed to a specific value, and then when you'll go to either the save room or the room with the elements fight, and then be able to immediately get the correct fight to start summoning those D machines.
And another tail found by EizanTayama after completing the Tower of Zot. Getting that pink tail, still no hook, so no way to cash that in either, but has completed the Tower of Zot for objective number 4. So got 2 objectives down by EizanTayama, only 1 for sylverfyre, but sylverfyre about to do that D-Machine grind as they have gone to the Giant.
This also gives Eizan his eighth key item. So once we hit 10 key items, the experience from all encounters will be doubled. So if Eizan is able to get to 10 before he does his grind, it'll be twice as fast or more than what sylverfyre is going to attempt right now.
And that might be Eizan's reasoning here. Because he's had access to the Darkness Crystal Atella for just about the same amount of time that sylverfyre has, and the 2 of them have gone different routes. Sylverfyre has been just setting up basically to get to this point to do the grind since then, whereas EizanTayama has been still doing as many checks as he can beforehand. It's just really interesting to see the 2 strategies really side by side here.
All right, Eizan through these fights and going to get rewarded with a pass.
I mean, that's not terrible. It's not progression strictly speaking, but it is the shortcut to Threemus once you complete all the objectives, and so that's going to be a little nice thing to have. That's another place that sylverfyre hasn't checked yet, and depending on when sylverfyre finds go mode, this is something that could be a real edge for EizanTayama coming to the end of the game as well.
Yeah, so I think right now is when we may see some real divergence. I mean, I think Eizan, if he's going to stick to trying to get 10 key items, he's going to stay on the overworld or the underground, going to finish off his checks there. We still have Dwarf Castle, we still have 2 checks in the Tower of Babel, we still have that Bahamut in Feymarch, where sylverfyre, they are finishing up their grind here. Probably will take them about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little longer to get enough D machines to slingshot their characters up, and then they might head right to the moon and do checks there. So depending where we pull this pan, it'll be interesting where our runners end up in the next 15 minutes or so.
Eizan, not skimping on the checks, is heading up to the Tower of Battle, and at this point, with Quake online with his Palums, I imagine going to do both checks in the tower at this one time.
No, yeah, with Paladin Cecil online, you're not gonna waste time doing the Penguinator special here. You're just gonna take out both of them at the same time.
And at this point, like, the efficiency of checking key items, especially for EizanTayama, is so important. With just 1 key item required for go mode, it could be anywhere. It could be in this tower, but they could be on the moon.
We also see on sylverfyre's side using spells. So the D machine grind consists of using weak to make the D machine basically at 1 to 5 HP, and then using a quick attack to kill it. But sylverfyre using a spell to kind of increase the chances of getting a double or triple life glitch, which is going to drastically speed up the time that they are grinding.
Anytime you can get more of those life potions to go aim dying enemy. Unfortunately, after we get a miss from that bow, and when you're relying on hit something bow at base level, it's not going to be all that great.
So this is a Kainatsu at the top of tower. So those waves are going to be doing nearly 1,000 damage. So even here at levels that would normally be able to take this check, Eizan is going to have a little trouble here.
This spot is not really known for having great. It is its points, and the wave attack is based on hit points. The stronger hit points the bot is, the damage that wave would deal. That is a significant amount of damage.
All right, so now we're going into round 2 against this Kainatsu. And the goal here is to do as much damage as possible before Kainatsu can get the wave off, or to use the lit 1 spells to nullify the wave completely. But that does require some really precise timing, which he doesn't get off. This is an interesting situation here. I think after 2 wipes here, I probably will go do Dwarf Castle. Do the Penguinator special, Dwarf Castle, and then hope that I make up some time, because Eizan getting rat-holed here with this Kainatsu fight is really just going to be eating up a whole bunch of time.
But instead, EizanTayama heads right back to the turtle, and we're going to see if this goes any better.
The thing is, I don't see, he's not changing his agility manipulation at all. This may be a situation where you throw that cursed ring onto Cecil. You try to get your characters at RA1, rely on those mages to take out this spot with magic instead of using Cecil to swing away.
Looks like was able to break the first wave, and now the Quake coming in to do some damage to Kainatsu. This second wave is probably going to hit. Hopefully, we've done enough damage that Kainatsu's wave won't be quite as strong this time around.
Cecil will survive this one, but everyone else is going down.
Oof. Yeah, that is a rough fight right there.
Yeah, the wave does do 4% of Kainatsu's HP, but when you get to 20,000 some HP, that's a lot of power behind that water.
EizanTayama taking a moment to assess everything: battle speed, cursed ring options. What am I going to do here?
He didn't put the cursed ring on, though, right?
I believe he just did.
He did. Okay, I missed that. I saw he turned his battle speed down. So let's see if that makes a difference. It'll definitely make that wave a little bit more manageable. Probably probably could nullify it a little bit faster, but it's gonna be a long fight.
Our chatter's telling us that he took it off.
Oh, he's taking it off. Okay, that's even more interesting. Okay, no, the chat's saying that the curse string has been on, so the speed at which that wave is coming is the slowest that Eizan is going to possibly get it. Now, Rex, what message do you think Sylverfyre is sending to us with that character pattern? I'm trying to figure it out for the last few minutes.
Is listen lifted his eye?
Whoever
That
that.
might we'll have to ask Silverfyre when they do their interview if they want to be known as Listen Lipped.
Well, whoever that message is for, I'm sure they are getting, they are understanding it clearly. Scala clarifying it means that we should listen to Silverfyre and let their words lift us all up. And I'll take that one. I think that works.
Eisen ultimately deciding to bail on that Kane Azo, so and see some more vanilla here in those dark imps.
Wow, that's is that like 5 scoops of vanilla in this seed at this point?
You know, I should keep a tally for when people ask questions like that.
These dark imps are not going to give Eisen any trouble, but we will be fading the Kenatsu for now. Hopefully that's not where our Pan or our Adamant are hiding. Otherwise, then Eisen's gonna be in trouble, because once Silverfyre is done with their grind, they won't have any problem with that Kenatsu.
Yeah, that Kainaza will not be a problem with a end game level party. And it looks like Silverfyre has finished this D Machine grind. Not sure if this was how they wanted to do this. Might want to slingshot the other one. That's probably Porum there, and do a second grind is what it looks like they're setting up here. Oh, so it's a Palom. My bad.
Yeah, that does feel like a mistake to me, but they may have some plans in the future. We wouldn't be leaving that Palom down for any agility reasons, of course, because we already have Cecil in the party.
But it does seem like everybody else in the party is at the correct end game levels. So
I hope they. I mean, a runner of their status would not, but I just hope that they didn't forget about vanilla agility in that moment. With with all the variables going on, it's certainly easy to forget some things, but vanilla agility has been part of this whole tournament, so I doubt that's what it is.
I agree. But it looks like Eisen is going to be summoning his big whale as well. Going to be interesting to see when he decides to do his grind. I don't see any other items lit up in the tracking, so I imagine that was not a key item given through the tower key.
Yeah, see if Leggy caught it. There's a power shirt. I don't hate that, but not a key item.
Yeah, power shirt. We do have at least one person who's swinging either an axe or a sword around, and they can use that power shirt without a doubt. Ooh, interesting. Silverfyre heading straight to the tower with a souped-up team. So Silverfyre should be able to take out that turtle at the top of the tower without too much problem.
Yeah, in terms of key item density, the only places that give us 2 right now are the Lower Babel and the Ribbon Room, and Lower Babel is a much faster check right now than walking all the way down to Lunar Sub and checking that Ribbon Room. So we will be able to see what Eisen was not able to get behind that Kenatsu very soon.
Well, and the bottom of Fey March.
And the bottom of Fey March. Well, the Bahamut I think would be doable with a couple star rounds for either one of our runners right now. Certainly much easier for Silverfyre at this point.
Well, I think pretty much every boss is going to be much easier for Silverfyre at this point. But it looks like not for much longer, as EizanTayama is now setting up for the D Machine grind as well.
It will be interesting how much longer Silverfyre fades Sheila 1. When they pull that Earth Crystal from Shield 1, I think they're going to probably feel very behind.
Well, it's tough because depending on how well hidden that Adamant and Pan are, it might be a moot point.
Yeah, so that full-powered wave hitting Silverfire's party and the entire party absorbing it very well, and we're gonna see this fight go pretty fast. After a couple thousand damage, Kainazzo is gonna be pretty much inert here.
You see that kamikaze on being used by Silverfyre via Cecil. That's not because Cecil wouldn't be good in this fight. Cecil would be great in this fight. But on the other hand, I believe Silverfyre has set Cecil's agility to exactly where they want it to be. And so doesn't want Cecil to be earning extra experience through these fights that we're seeing right now, so wants to make sure that he stays down on the ground.
Yeah, I think Cecil on Silverfire's side is going to be taking a dirt nap for the rest of this seed.
Yeah, until we get to the into the Threemus fight.
So Silverfyre pulling the hook from that top of tower, that could be big, Rex.
It could be those extra checks that EizanTayama did that have granted the Rat Tail and Pink Tail. Rat Tail, I think, was from the D-Mist, is that right? And the Pink Tail from Zot.
Correct, yeah.
Those are two, like, the Zot check is behind that Earth Crystal, which Silverfyre would need to go through the Vanilla Pan route in order to get. Which it seems like they've been fading so far. I don't know if they're going to be making that choice soon. And with everything open, I don't see going on a D-Mist hunt in Misty Cave at this point. I've been proven wrong a lot of times when I do commentary, but that's just not what I see right now.
It is a check that is always in the back of my mind, no matter how long I fade them. And sometimes it comes to me like a lightning bolt that I have not checked them yet. So I could see the same thing for Silverfyre as they return to the overworld here.
So it's something that could definitely benefit Silverfyre, but it's also something that Rat Tail could be a red herring as well. But if it is what either the Adamant or the Pan, the question is, when does EizanTayama want to go back to climb the tower just for that, to fight that Kainazzo again, even after a grind?
I think you probably never do it. I mean,
I agree. Yeah. I tend to agree with you there. I mean, this has kind of been a very interesting race when it comes to that, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Between Silverfire's fading of the Sheila 1 check versus EizanTayama's unfortunate wipe to Kainazzo, it's really, that's been what's painting the picture of this seed so far.
We are seeing a little bit of drama over on Eizen's side with his D-Machine grind. Most of his party's down. He's taking a bunch of these fire hits. They get faster as you lose party members just because of the ATB system is ticking faster with less characters on the screen. But seems to be having a little trouble getting rid of this D-Mist. When he's able to get rid of it, should have his party back up.
So Silverfyre is going to do that sealed cave check. Now that they've done the grind, the threat of the really difficult boss here is mitigated considerably, and so it seems a lot more reasonable to be going here as a gamble at this point in time.
And I'd like to welcome the Raiders from RPG Limit Break. remind them to please not spoil the race that you just watched. And we're here watching Sylverfyre versus EizanTayama. Eizan has done a lot more checks on the overworld than Sylverfyre, but Sylverfyre has already completed their grind and planning to catch up here while Eizan is doing their own grind.
Yeah, very interesting race so far. Seeing some, despite the fact that they've got identical teams, two Palams, Cecil, Tella, and Forum, the way that they've got here has been very different. So, been very fun. Really excited to see what happens next. And the next thing that we're going to see is what the item at the bottom of this sealed cave is going to be. And Sylverfyre is going to be showing us that very shortly.
Yeah, I do like this move. I kind of alluded to a lot of runners choosing to do the sealed cave earlier than I think one would typically run it in, just because it is a check that some runners just don't like to do. It takes a long time, and it's value.
Oh, that is huge. Adamant is what we need in order to complete objective number 1. This is also going to give an Excalibur with a Force Cecil. That's not insignificant. Oh, this Magus Sisters fight is actually kind of difficult, I think, at this point.
Yeah, but well, I was going to say Silver's going to be able to toss 2 Quakes here, but that second Palam is still at extremely low levels here, so only 1 Quake caster is going to be available.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a tough fight. I think this is smart. Use Porum to use white to take out one of the sisters, and have Palam just continuously do the quakes to really focus on the middle sister, who is the one who can revive the other 2, but has the wall protecting it. I mean, these spells are pretty strong at this point.
Yeah, this is the vanilla Evil Wall spot, and while Evil Wall doesn't do any attack magic, the one spell that Evil Wall does use, that stone spell, I don't think the developers wanted that to miss, so they put a pretty high magic attack on this spot.
But if we can take out Cindy, then we're basically home free. Taking out Mindy gets the strong magic out. And if you're lucky enough, if you take out Sandy, you can get rid of the wall. The high levels that Sylverfyre has got here has made it so that this ends up being not nearly as difficult as it potentially could be if we had lower level parties.
All right, so all Sylverfyre needs to do is check Sheila 1, and they are in go mode.
But the question is, when does Sylverfyre make that check? That's really been the question throughout a lot of this seed so far.
Eizan's still looking like having some trouble with their D-Machine grind. His Tell is down to 1 HP here, and he might take a wipe if he's not careful.
Able to get the Cure 2 off, that helps. But yeah, this is we often will say that the D-Machine grind is a relatively safe grind because everything is percentage based, but that just goes to show you that if something goes wrong, like, it kind of snowballs.
Yeah, so we see Eizan here resetting all the way back to outside of Baron because unlike the traditional step route manipulation to get the D-Machine grind in the Giant, this manipulation here just gets reset as soon as you turn off the game. So going to have to start from scratch here and find this correct encounter and with the number of encounters and return to the giant to do this fight again.
Yeah, very unfortunate for EizanTayama. This does open the door for sylverfyre if they decide to go through the... even if they don't decide to go through the vanilla 1 route, which we know will give that Earth Crystal, but more time to find the hand if they decide to do other tricks as well.
So sylverfyre picking up a Zeus Gauntlet and 10 apples. That's interesting.
That's one thing. If you've got the extra money, might as well buy the apples, get a little bit of extra survivability on your characters. Why not, right?
Yeah, of course. And you know, using the forge objective, we get handed an Excalibur, Cecil's second best weapon in the game. So Cecil's gonna be swinging some high numbers in that Threemus fight. And sylverfyre has completed objective 1 and merely needs to do the Sheila 1 check and get that Earth Crystal.
And it looks like Dwarf Castle is going to be the next second for sylverfyre. That's one that I don't think either of you runners have real information. Leading into the
we have a 6th scoop of vanilla in this seed. Oh wow. Zoe, this is impressive. I'll take this opportunity as Eizan sets up his D-Machine grind again. sylverfyre taking on these vanilla dolls to thank Zoe Vermillion and Leggy Starscream for doing the restream and the tracking respectively. We wouldn't be able to put on this show without them bringing you the pretty pictures and lighting up the pretty buttons. And oh wow, so behind Calbrina we find Vivalis, and the seed is kind enough to give the runner the tool to really defeat Vivalis, but sylverfyre having enough power just to push through here. And sylverfyre watching the red hand slowly creep along the crystal room, not doing anything to stop it, would definitely increase the chances of completing the seed early if you just stop that hand from taking that key item away. But not going to happen today or ever, and we'll see what sylverfyre picks up from around Luca's neck. Luca had strung a coffin around her neck today, probably going through a goth phase for Princess Luca today.
You know, sometimes she has great things around her neck. Sometimes she's got a method to instantly kill somebody.
That's right. It's to celebrate the spooky season. That's why that coffin is there. The early stages of Eizen's second D-Machine fight here is looking a lot healthier. I don't know if it doesn't look like they changed up their party order or anything. I think they might just be being a bit careful here.
Sometimes it's a bit better to just go ahead and bite the bullet on healing a little bit earlier than you feel like you quote-unquote should.
Yeah, definitely. The D machine is certainly easier when you have a dedicated healer, probably 25-30, but then you don't get the benefits of the grind at that point. So you can use Tella to heal, but then that just takes that sucks up a lot of his MP and a lot of time. So there's ways to do it, but the more careful you are, the more time you're eating up just getting levels.
Looks like Sylverfyre is going to take on that Odin fight here. We had been talking about the Bahamut fight for a while that was in the king spot, but this Odin sitting right next door. Now with that Excalibur, going to be leaning on Cecil to do a big chunk of damage here. Odin, this is a fast spot, and that sword is already raised.
Yeah, doing a ton of damage, but those back road characters still unable to absorb it. Oh no. So chat's asking where the Earth Crystal was. I think the people who came in with RPG Limit Break probably had missed it, but the Earth Crystal is on Sheila 1, which Eizan did as soon as he got underground, and Sylverfyre is still fading. Probably because returning the Pan to Yang's life is an objective.
Yeah, I imagine that's the reason that Sylverfyre has been fading. That check for now wants to try to do it all in one go. That's not going to be ideal for Sylverfyre right now. This Odin is not ideal for anybody either. That was a tough Odin.
It'll be interesting to see where Eizan does go after the grind. The sealed cave is on the table, but we'll have to. The only thing we can do is ask afterwards, where his routing is, where he's thinking about routing right after this. But we'll see exactly what his choices are when it's done.
And Sylverfyre able to take down that Odin. The sword was raised, but able to get through right before it comes up. Just gets a Zeus Gauntlet. Sylverfyre had already picked up a Zeus Gauntlet in the Kokol shop, so not really all that interested. Head straight on over to Bahamut. This one shouldn't be too much of a problem at this point in time either.
I'm sure Sylverfyre would be celebrating that Zeus Gauntlet if they didn't already buy one.
Yeah. And especially since they've kind of alternate between the Zeus Gauntlet and the Cursed Ring, depending on what bosses wear and everything like that.
So Sylverfyre getting those walls up. EizanTayama still grinding his way through these D machines.
Looks like we're going to be relying on just Cecil for this. But Cecil's got the wall up and the Berserk going on. As long as the wall doesn't fade, I think Sylverfyre will be fine.
I think Cecil gets through this before the next Mega Nuke.
Just barely, but yeah. Got up there.
I like when I'm right about that. I'm mostly not when I'm actually playing the seed.
Ooh, Twin Harp. Here is a little rabbit hole that Sylverfyre has found.
The Pan still could be behind that harp. We know that the Earth Crystal isn't, but Sylverfyre could become the People's Champion here tonight by giving us music.
Oh, this is very good news for Sylverfyre. Heading over to Sylph Cave. This is what they needed to do for quite a while, and gonna be rewarded with that Earth Crystal.
Yeah, the only thing Silverfyre would have left to do after grabbing the Earth Crystal is decide what to do with that Palom that they didn't get experience during their D-Machine ride.
I believe that Palom has gotten up to at least the level 3 elemental spells. I think I saw that on one of the levels up after the Feymarch bosses, Odin in particular. So I think might not be up to nuke, but should be able to at least contribute in the zero respect.
Yeah, of course, if we're going full reflect, we want to see, and we have 2 black mages, we want to see nuke on both of them, but it's not required. It'll just make the fight a little bit slower.
It's also possible that with that Excalibur Power Shirt Cecil, you might want to think about just going for a hybrid strategy as well.
It wouldn't be a bad idea. I think more likely you probably swing Cecil 2 or 3 times and then finish with the spells to finish Zeromus before the refill. But yeah, I mean, it's whatever the runner is comfortable with in dealing with Zeromus is what you choose. You know, people have different preferences.
One thing that EizanTayama has done that's, if you want to put safety first, that curse ring, along with a piece of Dragoon gear, means that Cecil is actually absorbing the fire attacks from the D machine instead of taking damage from it. So as long as nothing weird happens, all that we see are those fire attacks, and Cecil will never take damage from that. So if you need to recover, you've got the opportunity to here. So that's kind of a way to hedge in that fight as well.
So Silverfyre just needs to finish the Tower of Azat, and they will be rewarded with the crystal. EizanTayama, in order to really get, stay in this race, needs to do that sealed cave check as soon as they're done with their D machine. Or get lucky with a check we haven't seen yet, and get the pan.
Yeah, that could be too. Unfortunately, that one wipe in the first attempt of the D machine grind for I think is probably like the main difference, and why this is currently, I think, I would say Silverfyre is favored in this race. But it looks like EizanTayama is now done with his grind, got nearly 1 million experience there, and should be set to go. Make sure we get the right spells. We're looking for nuke on our Palons and white on our Quorum.
That's nuke on 1. White, yeah, I think EizanTayama has definitely done enough D machines to get his party up to do all the spells that he would ever want. Also, ending that Cecil at 53, I believe, sets that agility at 33. So that Drain Sword is probably gonna be at the perfect agility to get our relative agility 2 on Zeromus.
Now the interesting question is going to be, where does Eizan go next?
If he's landing here, I think he's going right to the moon. No, he's just taking a little detour. He's just teasing us at this point.
Yeah, that was scary, and because we want to see a sealed cave dive. That's going to be the best bet for EizanTayama here.
Yeah, if Eizan does sealed cave right now, both of these runners are entering Zeromus at the same time. No, actually, Eizan might be in it even first because he's got the pass.
Yeah, the pass might be huge, and that's why it could be very interesting if he decides to go to sealed cave right now. All he'd have to do is walk He'd have to walk all the way down there and beat the Mega Sisters, warp out, and they go right there. Whereas Sylverfyre is going to have to go all the way to the moon and walk all the way down the lunar subterranean.
Rex, we have a race. We have a race right now. This is amazing. Eizan is making the correct play here. He is going to be rewarded with his adamant.
This is great. And while all this walking is going to be starting, I want to give a quick shout out to our restream team here with Zoe Vermillion on the restream itself and Leggy Starscream doing the tracking. Without them, we don't have a show and we don't have an awesome race here. So big shout outs to them.
Yeah, chat asking where the pass was. I believe the pass was in the Baron Inn. Or no, yeah, right? I can't remember now.
It certainly was somewhere. I will confirm that.
It was early. I just don't remember where it was.
Yeah, I think so, like Oscar Edwin also saying it was the pat at the end. So I think if at least two people think it might have been there, I'll say it was definitely there.
So at this point, it's hard to say who is favored. I think Eizan, just because all of their characters are at the levels that he really wants them to be. Whereas I think Sylverfyre's second poem doesn't have that nuke, so it's gonna be close.
It's gonna be close regardless. This walk is gonna be very close as well. This is crazy. Like when early in the race with Sylverfyre fading that check, it seemed like Eizan had a big lead, and then there was the wipe at both Kinazo and at the D Machine grind that seemed like Sylverfyre was way ahead, and then this play by Eizan to go straight to Seal Cave, which, to be fair, was the same play that Sylverfyre made after they did their grind, but that both of them went to this place first just makes this so close at the end. This is so great. This is why we love free enterprise.
Yeah, this is really showing this is peak excitement this is as exciting as free enterprise can get. Right here, this is amazing that we get to see this. This is wonderful.
Okay, so I think so Eizan has to beat the Mega Sisters right now while Sylverfyre walks down to the bottom of the lunar subterranean.
Right, so the walk to Zeromus takes about 3 minutes, including the whale flight. I don't think this fight takes Eizan that long. Probably just about a minute and a half, and then with the pass, he's going to make up a lot of that time. So it's a race right now.
It's so close. The pass is a big advantage for Eizan here, and it looks like Rosa was available in this scene. And those apples that Sylverfyre bought in the Cocal's Forge, that's one place that Eizan does need to go to as well. We'll have to head on over to the Forge and get that Excalibur made as well. So that's going to be another stop along the way.
Yeah, so all that adding up, I think it's still going to be close, but Eizan's definitely going to enter the Zeromus fight, I think, after Sylverfyre. And that second nuke may be really crucial at that point.
We saw the rare Mindy casting Ice 2 on herself once, or Mindy casting Ice 2 on herself when Cindy was already defeated. As a runner, you love to see that.
Rex, I like how you try to keep the sisters straight.
I do.
Better than me.
Looks like Sylverfyre opened at least one chest. Might be hoping to get a few more levels on that one under-level Palom as well. Of course, Sylverfyre does not know where Eizan is in relation as far as the race goes between the two. They are blind to each other.
Yeah, I mean, Silverfyre deciding to take a trap chest here, or even a siren here, maybe the difference between victory or defeat.
Did find that siren in that chest, like, has this opportunity now to make up some of those levels on that second palom especially.
Yeah, I mean, this won't get him to nuke, but it will make him a little bit more powerful, and the extra HP is not gonna be anything to sneeze at either.
It looks like those apples went out to Porum, so that makes me think that this. I think Silver's setting up for a hybrid strategy. Wants to use that Excalibur Cecil to do some serious damage with some curing by Porum. At least that's my hunch.
Yeah, not allowing the Cecil to gain a couple extra levels here, which may screw up the agility math, but if increasing Cecil's strength with that Excalibur is going to do more damage. So, you're walking a tightrope here, but that's where we are. That's free enterprise.
Was able to get nuke on one of the paloms. One of them is still a little shy, but now I think we're in a situation where a real hybrid strategy is very, very possible. And right now, EizanTayama has gotten that Excalibur forged. We'll be getting that crystal as Sylverfyre is going down through the lunar core. This is so close at this time.
Eizan was able to afford, I think, 4 apples, threw them on his own Black Mage to push him above 2,000 HP. So same thought pattern as Sylverfyre, and we'll see. We can only guess what either of their Zeroma strategies are going to be, but we are going to be smack dab in it in just a minute here.
And for that, hey Gundam.
Yes, sir.
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
You're not going to do the bit?
I don't do the bit. I mean, it's just butt time. That's where we're at. We don't even have time for the bit. So
it's too close.
But here we are. Sylverfyre makes it to the final fight first. We're going to see whatever the wonderful sprite we have tonight is. EizanTayama picking up, doing a little bit of shopping, doesn't realize just how close this race is right now, of course, but it's just a short jaunt away from Toria. Going to be in this fight. Both of our runners are going to be in the fight at the same time. It's going to be great.
It's real. So I don't know if Eizan actually checked that shop before, but if he didn't, extremely lucky to find the Star Veils at the first go.
So here comes the crystal, and we are going to see the true form of Threemus. Erg. This is Nightmus 2. Someone's already telling me it's from Kirby. That's good, because I did not know what this is from.
It seems a little bit too terrifying to be from Kirby, but there is a nightmare in Dreamland, I hear. Don't correct me if that's not the game that this boss is from.
Eizan has cashed in his pass and is now entering into the path to Zeromus, and will be there very shortly. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre has started up the plan.
So that those 3rd level elemental spells still doing almost 5,000 damage to Nightmus 2 here. So maybe Sylverfyre doesn't even need that nuke. Whoa, that was not a nerfed Big Bang though.
Yeah, that slow coming out after the Big Bang instead of before means another counter nuke coming in, and yet another character going down. This is going to be tough for Silverfyre here. Got to recover here, but we still have Quorum, we still have Cecil. That's all that you should need in order to defeat it, but it's going to go a little bit slower now than it would have if everybody was still up. Meanwhile, EizanTayama has just entered the battle, so this is going to be close, especially with this kind of hiccup that Silverfyre had at the beginning of the fight.
Silverfire's party just barely surviving. I don't know if that's Palom or Porum up there because the palette is throwing me off, but it is the White Mage, so maybe they have a chance here to get their party back up.
I think they do, especially with the Black Hole giving a little bit more time, able to life 2 up the Cecil. But there comes the Shake. This is going to be tough, and I don't know exactly what the agility situation is, but it doesn't look to be great, as it seems like Threemus is very fast here.
We spend a lot of time in comms, and I know a lot of the commentators spend a lot of time also talking about vanilla agility. This is why we talk about vanilla agility. This is why vanilla agility is crucial, because Silverfire's Cecil is leveled up and not has no curse string, has no agility modifiers, and Threemus is fast.
Silverfyre able to get the Cure 3 on Quorum, and there's the Cure 4. That means that they should be able to survive this next Big Bang. Recovery in process. Meanwhile, EizanTayama, so far, this fight's been pretty smooth. Although that Palom did take a full power nuke, enough to knock him out with just one shot.
Eizan, that white doing almost 9,000 damage. This nuke probably going to be similar. Every second that Silverfyre spends trying to get their party back up is another second that EizanTayama is just doing more and more damage to this final boss.
Yeah, it certainly feels like, at least in this fight itself, that EizanTayama might have been able to set up everything before the fight a little bit better than Silverfyre did, because this has been, kind of tough. But that slow might be able to help Silverfyre the rest of the fight.
It's really, Silverfyre does not want to make that walk again. Is really sticking this fight out, but they certainly know that there's a problem with their agility and that they're in a bad situation right now, and it gets worse with that White Mage going down.
Yeah, the unfortunate HP ran out message that came up. Ooh, the virus came, and both of our characters are really low there over on Silverfire's seed. But the Black Hole does give a little bit of time here. Meanwhile, EizanTayama facing a big dragon of his own.
It was devastating.
Poof! This is one other thing that I've said a lot in commentary throughout my career is Threemus is no joke, and this is why I say it.
The big trick here, though, EizanTayama taking a lot of damage with that Big Bang. But even if both runners take a wipe here, EizanTayama is in this fight a lot faster than Silverfyre is.
That's a good point. That pass paying dividends.
I'm just really impressed on Silverfire's side by how they're sticking this through and staying alive when Threemus really wants their final two characters dead.
You see the single target nuke over on Silverfire's screen? That means that we are in the second phase. We have crossed that threshold, and Berserk coming up on Cecil. That we see over 5,000 damage being dealt. When you don't have that curse ring on, that quite potent.
Eizen's going to take this another unnerved Big Bang. Let's see how high the rolls are.
Oof. The Tier 4 coming out. We're down to Cecil and Forum on both screens.
Oh, that is an unfortunate timing for that nuke to come out. At least Eizen's, that virus is getting reflected, but the fact that Eizen's still only in virus phase is either because he's timing it right to skip the HP refill, or that he's just not doing enough damage fast enough.
Okay, this Berserk Cecil is our last hope over at Sylverfyre. Oh no, there's the Big Bang and the reset.
Okay.
This puts everything in the driver's seat over on EizanTayama's side.
Let's see if Sylverfyre wants to do anything with the... I don't know if they have the Drain Sword equipped to lower Cecil's agility, so we'll see if they make any changes to agility here. But certainly they are lowering their battle speed to start off on it. I don't know if that was something that they did in the first attempt as well.
One other difference is EizanTayama is going full reflect, not bothering to swing with Eizan. No berserks coming up. So different strategies employed by both of the runners in this Threemus fight, despite the same party makeup.
Yeah, I mean, with two new casters,
yeah,
it's just the strategy kind of writes itself.
Here comes another Big Bang and another high roll, and getting that just the 200 HP left on Forum. That black hole going to wipe out the star veil that she just put on herself, but does give an opportunity to cure herself because of it. But man, this has been a mean Threemus fight for both of our runners.
This is super tense. Like, as exciting as it was to see Eizan make that correct final check, the fact that now it looks, this final Big Bang may cause a reset on Eizen's side. Nope. Okay, so he's still alive, but Eizan close to a wipe, Sylverfyre taking a wipe and back in the fight now. The fact that Sylverfyre is back in this wipe means that back in this fight means that if Eizan takes a wipe now, even with the pass, he's probably gonna be very far behind.
But this goes to show at this point, whether or not a runner wipes, it's anybody's race at this point, because Threemus could just decide, I think I'm winning.
Yeah,
but these high roll Big Bangs.
I think that anyone who runs for Enterprise would say, like, the Threemus fight, it's the fight that you do most often. You're comfortable with it, but that is, it so quickly can just go out of control if you're not super careful and you're not confident in your strategy.
Another high roll Big Bang, and the virus right after, and EizanTayama has to take a reset as well. Now the driver's seat goes right back over to Sylverfyre's screen.
The only thing Sylverfyre has to do at this point is just not take another wipe, and they will be walking away with a win here. So you see Sylverfyre, this second go-around, is trying to manage those Big Bangs a little bit more carefully, using kind of just a random thunder spell to nerf it there. And the difference in that roll is paying off, because it was 800 damage versus the nearly 2,000 damage that they were taking before.
I wonder if the adjustment in battle speed was to make it so that the timing window for nerfing the Big Bangs was a bit easier to find as well.
certainly. If you're on battle speed 3, using that, I would be on battle speed. I'm not in the table stage, but I would be on battle speed 3 if I was doing reflex threats anyway. But the lower your battle speed, the more ATB friendly is, and you can get those nerfs into those the 3rd, 4th, 5th big bangs.
So far so good for this second attempt here by sylverfyre. The reflect target, though, has been a bit rough. It's probably going to go down here. Actually, both Palams are probably going to take a wipe here, but we still have Porum and Cecil, and we know that Cecil does quite a bit of damage. It looks like we do want to try to restore up a Palam as well.
All right, Eizan is starting his second attempt here. Coming with the premature nuke before Zeromus' invulnerability is removed. That's just an unfortunate misturn there. But in such a tight race, that one miss nuke might make a difference.
Yeah, it's tough. It's one of those situations where you want to finish as fast as possible, but there's this small window at the beginning, right after the transformation, where Zeromus is still not vulnerable to attacks. So threading that needle can sometimes be tough.
The first big bang on Eizan's side has been nerfed. His party not taking those high rolls. Going to be able to heal up here.
It looks like sylverfyre was out of Star Veils as well, so restored Palam, but nowhere to bounce those spells off of. Gonna try to set up a wall maybe with Porum, but that Palam goes down to 1 nuke. So instead gonna go to Berserk, and we're going with Porum and Cecil.
Yeah, another benefit of that pass, it allowed Eizan to make that final shop check and walk away with a stack of 10 Star Veils. So going to work out for him here.
Yeah, that's a good point. And looks like sylverfyre does want to do some reflecting. Got the wall on Porum. Might be reflecting white here. Yeah, looks like that's it. We're like, sylverfyre feels like they're in the home stretch here. Got the Cecil berserking and the white going to be reflected. Going to try to end this as quickly as possible.
Eizan taking an unnerved big bang, putting most of his party into the danger zone here.
I think we're getting pretty close on both runners' sides now. We're in medio phase on sylverfyre's screen.
Meanwhile, Eizan taking a black hole, which means that his walls are come off. He's not going to be able to reflect spells for at least 2 turns.
And the reflect on the Cure 4 means the next medio, if it hits Porum, will be disastrous for sylverfyre.
Oh,
but the dodge! The dodge was huge! Here comes another big bang on EizanTayama.
Didn't see what the spell was selected, but I'm going to imagine this might be a swag. White? No, it's not going to be. Getting Cecil back up to deliver the final blow.
Oh, this is so close right now. Here comes the white being targeted directly at Zeromus. Another medio. The Porum's still up. That white should be able to hit.
That wasn't enough? No, it's done.
It is. Ooh,
Wow!
What a finish!
I guess as Eizan will finish mere seconds after. There can't be much HP left on his Threemus, but sylverfyre taking the win with an official race spot time, 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 24 seconds.
Wow. What a race. And I believe we are now joined by sylverfyre.
Hi.
sylverfyre,
My heart is still pounding 15 minutes later after that Threemus fight.
I imagine this infused a lot of adrenaline into the system.
I just completely lost my cool on both of those Z fights.
Well,
I was not focusing, I was not making the correct decisions, and I can like point out every single one of them. Starting with, when you have 32 agility on your anchor, don't go in at battle speed 1. You can't afford to drop ticks from the battle from being on battle speed 1.
No, certainly not. But you mean you were able to keep your party up for a good amount of time there. Did you think about just taking a reset and just coming back and adjusting your battle speed at that point? Why did you decide to just try to stick it out?
No, I thought that I could just like, Cecil will just chip away with the Excal and Porum will keep it healed. But like I started getting worried when Porum was under 100 MP. And I was out of ethers.
Yeah, you seemed low on most of your crucial items there. Like
I had plenty of Cure 3s. I had the 1 Moon Veil and that was it.
Oh, we've been through a lot here too, because I don't know if you watched any of the last part of it or anything, but if you haven't, I highly recommend checking the VOD of this one, because especially when it got to the end, like it was flip-flopping back and forth between the two of you so much.
Yeah, so I understand that we were both on Threemus at the same time there and we both took a Z-wipe.
Yep.
That is true. Even before then, it was flip-flopping, I think, between the two of you quite a bit. You ended up with the same party, but had very different strategies of how to attack the seed as well. You opted for the early grind. Is that something that you really like to do in this flag set?
Absolutely. I will never, if I have a D-Machine grind available, I will never wait for 10 key items. Unless I'm at like 9. And
Sure.
if I have 10 key items, I almost never go for a D-Machine grind like you saw me do last night, where I'm just like, okay, I've got 10 key items, I'm just going to open moon boxes.
And then the other interesting thing was Eizan went right to the Sylph Cave and got that Earth Crystal really early, whereas you kind of faded that for a while.
So
then you went right to the Sealed Cave.
So because my whole party's level 50, like 2 minutes of flying around is about the same amount of time as it takes to kill a boss. Because I'm level 50.
Right. What I'm saying is Eizan did that before any thought of grinding or anything like that. So that's where the timing of that was different, but holy mackerel.
I forget what the item out of Earth Crystal was.
It was the out of the pink tail through Zot, yeah.
Oh boy. So I mean, it was again tight race the whole way through. Why? I mean, it was the crucial decision, but why decide the Sealed Cave check right after you finish your grind, as opposed to going to the moon or doing any of the other?
I mean, well, I answered why. I mean, I kind of answered half of that, which is like, when your whole party is at Threemus levels, a check is a check. It doesn't matter whether it's a quote unquote freebie,
right?
Like the Sheila 1, because Sheila 1 takes 2 minutes of walking and flying around, whereas Sealed Cave takes a minute and a half of walking through Sealed Cave. So I'm going to do Sealed Cave first. And like those times aren't accurate, super, but. The point is there, where it's like
the point is there.
The amount of time it takes to do one thing versus another is no longer dependent on what boss is there. I don't care
Right.
what boss is there. It's going to get microwaved. Or in this case, it's going to get holy because I screwed up my grind fight a little bit and ended it when I was not intending to.
Yeah, I was gonna. That's one of our, probably both of our questions is that that Palom stayed down at the end of that fight. That wasn't intentional.
No, I was a little bit off on how much HP that Searcher had left, and so I killed it with the Ogre Axe by accident.
A little bit unfortunate, but it certainly worked out.
I was gonna do one more D machine with the life glitch, and that would have done two things. A, I would have rezzed Palom before I finished the fight, so that that Palom was going to get slingshot. And the other thing is the Palom that wasn't quite getting enough for nuke would be closer to nuke than he ended up. Like, he'd still be at like level 50 instead of level 52, but I was like, that's fine. I'll just get that XP from like random bosses.
Yeah, of course, but you know, getting that second Palom to nuke was going to be a lot.
Yeah, that was going to be the Palom that was going to microwave everything, and instead it's like, well, I guess Porum will kill everything. Porum can kill everything, right?
And she did. She did a lot of work there at the end.
She really did. And then I got punished by not checking the moon character, and it was Rosa.
Yeah. Seeing that Rosa right at the end, it's like, oh, well, I guess there was a Rosa.
I had committed. It's like, I don't want to spend 2 minutes checking a character. Porum is perfectly good here. The only character I would take over Porum right now is Rosa.
Yeah.
And with how close you entered the Zeromus fight, the 2 minutes mattered in this race.
I mean, if I had Rosa, I wouldn't have wiped that first time. I would have. Well, I mean, I don't know if I would have bought 10 silver apples. So, I mean, maybe Rosa would have been about the same HP as Porum after all.
Well, this win brings you to 3-1 with your first 4 battles so far in the table stage. So that's a pretty comfortable spot that you're at right now, I would imagine.
I'm happy about that. I feel like I'm getting some of these wins despite some mistakes, and some of them I feel like I really are like, you know, some of them I'm really doing well, and some of them it's like, that's a really clunky mistake. I shouldn't have done that. And I, you know, had my opponent not made a very similar mistake from what I understand, if he's running the same party, I wouldn't have won that.
Well, I want to say, Gigi, congratulations on your win today. Did you have any final thoughts on this race?
Not especially.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for putting on such a great show tonight.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That is our winner of today's race, Sylverfyre. Go ahead and give them a follow if you're not following them already. And let's see here. Are we?
Yeah, EizanTayama. Yeah, he has declined to interview, which is fine. He had a couple bad wipes at the end. I'm sure he's going to think his strategy. He's a very, very strong runner. He's got a couple tough matches coming up, so we wish him the best of luck. We wish Sylverfyre the best of luck moving forward in this tournament. There is still plenty of free enterprise coming up, and the matches just kind of get better from here.
Yeah, and once again, want to give a shout out to our Restream team today. Got Zoe on the Restream, got Leggy Starscream on the tracking. My co-commentator Gundam tonight is great. Of course, everybody who's helping administer this tournament, making sure we're putting on so much content as far as free enterprise races goes, that those who are administrating it deserve all the love as well. So big shout outs to everybody there. Looks like we are going to send you to Commander Leonhardt tonight. So I want to thank everybody for joining us and watching tonight as well. And I hope you all have a good night.
Take care, Rex, and take care, everyone.